first and foremost, before we get to talking about everything, I want to thank each and every one of you guys. This is our first con appearance as a company, so it's a pretty big deal for us. We appreciate y'all kind of coming out, showing us love. Actually giving a con a hard time because the lines have been so long. So we appreciate you guys so much for coming out on our first big con and showing a lot of love. It's been it's only been a year and a half. It feels like an eternity, but it's only been a year and a half. So we appreciate you guys so much and showing all sorts of love. We do have some things that we're going to show you guys today. But first I'm going to introduce, of course, the panel. You guys know me. I'm the owner of Rippaverse, writer of ISOM, and it's
Let's go! Come on! Let's go!
And when we launched it, we'll be completely transparent with you guys. I had no idea that it was going to just explode in the way that it did. That completely changed everything. It changed my life quite literally, and seeing what happened with the reception, the people loving the book, loving some of the characters that we introduced. The first thing that I did was, of course, we had to grow as a team creatively, as well as with warehouse stuff, but especially creatively, we had to grow. So that's why you see these people that are with me joining me on the panel. Twisted Twins, you guys know them as, of course, the Soskas and the writers of the upcoming Yaira.
Let's go!
And of course, this guy's been just instrumental to the company in general. I've picked up so much from a storytelling tip from this man, and he's an absolute legend and the writer of the upcoming Gooding book. That is Mike Bear.
Hell yeah, let's go! Yeah.
Everybody loves Mike. Who doesn't? But seriously, we have a couple of things that we're going to show you guys. We'll at some point open it up for questions. I'm sure you guys got some things you want to ask the panel here. But we're just going to all individually sort of talk about the stuff it is that we're working on, and then we'll show you guys some things. You guys know we got ISOM 3 for me. That's been a big project that I've been working on. It's the conclusion of the ill-advised arc, so I can't wait for you guys to read that. But there's a bunch of other stuff that we have been handling as well. I know there's some high demand for some characters that you guys have asked for that we got introduced in ISOM 1 as well as ISOM 2. I'm just here to tell you that, of course, we hear you guys. I'm not going to NDA myself. But I have heard you guys, and more than likely, there are some things that are being worked on. So you guys know that after ISOM, I do want to move on to some other stuff creatively with. Trust me, I've heard you guys loud and clear. I've heard you guys loud and clear on that. So you guys will be seeing some stuff. But we got some really cool things planned on that. But of course, the next book that we have being released is Yaira. That is an absolute man. We've been Jen and Sylvia, so I'm going to give them an opportunity. Be careful. I'm going to give them an opportunity to talk about their experience, of course, working with the Rippaverse, but also the upcoming General Yaira book.
Yaira, issue 1, page 1, panel 1. We met Eric through Black Widow, which was the coolest experience. Guys, everybody who brought a Black Widow, thank you so much for buying it. It sold more now than when we were working for Marvel, which is insane. When we saw that the Rippaverse was starting, we were like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And then Eric asked if we would write for Yaira. Then Eric told us about Yaira, and he said it was a character that is a hand-in-glove fit for us, and I can't tell you too much about her, but yes. Yes, she is. You know when you're writing a character and they just kind of tell you what they're going to do? Yeah. That happened very quickly with Yaira. We had ideas, and we have like the next 10 years of Yaira figured out, and ideas for it, and things set up in issue 1. So you're not just like taking a little foot into the pool of Yaira. You're diving right in. Yes. There's so much happening in that book. Yaira is not a subtle woman. not even sort of. It has been such a trip to work with Deborah Carita. Her art is insane. You guys are going to be blown away. If you've seen photos of her, she is Yaira. She just flew down and she's like, I'm writing this book. I'm drawing this book. Don't worry about it. Kaden White has been absolutely brilliant with his art direction. It's just, I don't want to say it's the best book we've done yet. I don't want to say that because my boss is right there, but it is. Technically, I don't know.
I can say it's the best comic book we've ever written.
Yeah, easily.
That's
Hey, let's go.
yeah. But I will say, working for the Rippaverse, I've worked for Marvel, DC, Boom, Image, and Dark Horse. And you haven't seen books released from all of those, but don't worry, they paid me to make, well, some of them paid me to write the books.
People don't pay in comics, what?
No, to be paid on time, as an artist, that's amazing. As a film director, it's kind of like having a love affair. I like win the lottery and then I'm poor. Then I win the lottery and then I'm poor. Now I get to have a home where not only I'm creatively fulfilled, but I can eat. So that's really, really nice. And to have ideas with Yaira and be like, hey, can this character come in and do this? And Eric's like, yeah, hell yeah. I don't know if you read our first comic book for Marvel, Night Nurse. There's one panel in silhouette with Daredevil. That took 3 weeks to negotiate, that he was there in a flashback in an alternate universe. So it's just really nice to have like ideas and characters all free.
And it's nice that the boss actually knows what you're doing. I can't tell you how many times I've written for places and they're like, I don't know that character. They give you a suggestion. You're like, that person died. I don't know what to do. Thank you for the stuff you've let me write, which is definitely Yaira that I can say. But I really enjoyed working for the Rippaverse. And guys, I had no idea I knew you guys would be nice, but you guys are so nice. Like, thank you for the hugs, thank you for the support, thank you for being so sweet. Like, when I go back into my little director hole in Canada, I'm gonna be thinking about you and living off those hugs that I stole.
Love you! I do believe, and I'll piggyback on that bit, and then we've got better with each book it is that we've released, so I don't think anybody's offended that would say, like, hey, Chuck would be offended as well to say, like, Yaira's our best book, especially with the addition of course, Kane, right? It's taking the art just to the next level. You guys will see it. He's taking the art in terms of his direction to the absolute next level. He's made a lot of the artists better. And that's what we want to do here anyway. Like, the point is to get better with each release that it is that we have. So hopefully Yaira is the best that you guys have seen so far, but I do believe that you're gonna love it. And of course, we have next, like, Gooding, that was a character that got introduced in ISOM too, and I of course talked with Mike first, and he kind of threw himself, because it was well over. If you guys remember that stream that we did, I had no idea that was coming, and I speak about it with Mike before, and he just openly said he wanted to work with the Rippaverse, and that was like, y'all saw the live reaction. Understand that we were considering, like, Wally was my flash growing up. It was his books that it is that I was reading, So to be able to work with an absolute legend has been, again, just, you can't quantify that for my individual growth, certainly as a storyteller. But Gooding being the next book after Yaira is it's massive. So it is a change of pace. He's a different type of character. He doesn't have the powers. His powers, if anything, is going to be his mind. So you had to get someone that could operate kind of around that. And of course, there's nobody better than Mike to kind of take advantage of that. So I'm going to give Mike an opportunity to kind of chat a little bit about what he's been working on, his experience with Rippaverse, and just the Gooding project in general.
Well, I'm very excited to be here, folks. I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Woo! We love you, Mike.
We love you, Mike.
I'm more excited about my writing than I ever have been in my life, because I think that I'm getting better as a writer, and I'm very happy about that. The thing about Gooding was he's the type of individual who's an entrepreneur, who's rooted in the real world, but a real dreamer. And what I've done with Gooding is I've tried to fill in the blanks and show you who he is by starting at a young age and taking him all through his education and maturity to where he is in the Rippaverse now. And that involves a lot of learning experience, and it involves an exciting new character which I introduce, which I hope will be a staple in the books to come. But my theory now is that I don't let anything out of the house unless it's a home run. You know, there are books that I wrote 30 years ago that I look at and I think, I can't believe I wrote that, that's so bad. But not in a long time, and that's one of the bright spots in my life, is that I think I'm getting better and I'm more excited about writing every day. For those of you who want to write, I always say writers are people who have to write. The best advice I can give anybody, whether they want to write or draw, is to carry a notepad and pen with them at all times. Write down anything that strikes your fancy, an interesting name, an interesting situation, a turn of phrase. When I write a book, a comic book, I want every word and every panel to entertain. That's the rule number one. So my number one job is to entertain. For those who think, well, how do you do that? I learned by reading Uncle Scrooge comics by Carl Barks.
Yeah.
Yes!
And I think he's one of the greatest comic book storytellers of all time. And if you haven't looked at those books, you should, because they are a master class in how to use the medium.
But yeah, it's having him here it's shook as well. It's just been, this was my first kind of big deal as far as in comics. I've done a lot of ghostwriting, you guys know, and obviously music and everything else, but doing it in a medium, that was my first big thing. So it was very important to surround myself with people, number one, that knew what the hell that they were doing. That was important. But I mean, these are not just random comic book guys, like between him and Chuck and even the Sox, because they've been doing this far longer than I have. And I've learned so much just with them being around. Here, just as a storyteller, I feel like the same thing. I'm getting better with each story it is that I'm telling. And because we do have our like creative meetings and things, I think it's safe to say that we're all kind of learning from each other and bouncing ideas off each other. That's the kind of climate it is that I always wanted to build here at the Rippaverse, where everybody seems like legitimately invested into the company and growing its universe. So you're not getting these characters that nobody cares about as far as the actual writers. Everybody actually is invested. Like Mike's invested in Gooding, and you guys will see it with the stories it is that he is going to be telling. So again, I will say this, everybody here, this includes Mike, everybody here, the story that you guys see that they are writing, whether it be Ira, whether it be Gooding, it is not their last stories here at the Rippaverse. There's plenty of other books that are being worked on. At some point it will be an appropriate time to let you guys in on that. So I guess in a minute we'll open it up for questions. Brandon's going to go around, but we have something to show you. As you all know, it was a family emergency kind of situation. Chuck was supposed to be here, and he was not able to make it. And however, he is here, and I am going to show you guys something here in a little bit. And this is actually a sort of MEGACON exclusive, I guess we can say.
Shut up.
I'm going to play this. Check it out.
Joe Bennett had this idea, and he presented it to me, and he said, what the Rippaverse really needs is a street-level crime-fighting character, a guy without any superpowers, self-made man. And so Joe and I together created the Horseman, and we presented the idea to Eric, and thank God he liked it. So we're creating a one-shot presenting the Horseman, just super action, the way only Joe Bennett can deliver it. And it's going to be a lot of fun, I promise.
Nice.
So you guys just got the, of course, cover reveal of Horseman. It is such a down-to-earth, really street-level type of approach to the story it is that we're telling there, or they are telling. So Horseman, just so you guys know, it is wrote by, it's Chuck's, this is his book, it's Joe Bennett's book. They created this character. This is not something that I conceptualized, like an alpha core or something. This is all them 100%. So this is the first book that you guys are getting with a Rippaverse that is solely created by the other creators. And man, he put his absolute foot into this story. Everybody has they've read it.
So good.
Seeing the artwork that's coming back with it, and of course, just around this summer, probably early in the summer, you guys are going to get Horseman by, of course, Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett. So,
Shout out.
I want the Horseman to fight your guy, Mike, so badly.
The difference between us is I'm in love with Gooding and Syl's in love with the villain that Mike created in Gooding.
so good.
He is so good!
So good.
The bad guy is horrible, I hate him. That's why he does in the middle page at like that. I don't know how you forget
Some
that.
NDA. What are we doing?
Sorry, boss. I ruined it all. That middle section.
Oh, man.
Lock it in.
All right, so we're gonna, I don't know how you want to do this, Brando.
We're gonna do a line.
So we're gonna do a line in the middle, and Brandon's gonna have the mic for anybody that wants to come up and ask questions to anybody actually here on the panel. So you guys can start lining up there. It's totally up to you guys.
Thank you.
Yaira 1 opens on.
So this is more of a comment than a question, but I just want to thank each and every one of you for making comments, bringing them.
She's 19 minutes younger than me. She's more spry. I don't got that in my back.
So, Biggles. So, Eric, I have a question. In ISOM 1, when he was in the hospital, there was a ring that he didn't cut off, or they couldn't cut off. Are you going to explain that more later? Because I've been thinking about it a lot.
You asked for questions, dude.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I know, right?
I've had this question since the book came out.
Okay, so that was not, I will say this, that was not a random scene. I'm glad you caught on to that. People picked up on it, doing the hospital scene, the little bracelet / arm thing that he had utilized that allowed him to be found by his sister, right? So that's not a random thing. I would say this much without NDA of myself. Connect the dots between where his sister works.
You said too much!
And that's about all I can get. But no, big shout out to you. A lot of people didn't pick up on that aspect, and that's the fun thing about the Rippaverse. We have those types of nuggets in there, and that is absolutely something that is going to be further discussed for sure.
All right, good.
What up, Roman?
How you doing? How you doing? So first thing I want to say is it's absolutely amazing you guys are building this whole new universe. Just from the ground up, you're setting the foundation for something new, that's something that can actually grow to be iconic, something that, well, I'll just say it, it'll probably replace Marvel and DC. The only thing I'm gonna ask is, Eric, are you going to release the Eric sketch? Or are all our hopes and dreams gonna be crushed? Come on.
Well, I will say that we know that arguably, let's say a campaign that has the potential to rival ISOM is going to be the Gyro campaign, right? That is going to be huge. We already know that. We have some special things that are going to plan with that. So yeah, if it does what it does, and we'll have its number, we'll put that out there, and that'll be our little goal. Yes, we will for sure 100% release that young thing. So,
All the Rippaverse can be great. I was just wondering, on the more business side of things,
what kind of outside help would you be looking for whether it be comic production or outside stuff like projects for animations or anything of that sort?
Well, we have a lot of people that are kind of internally that are here, right, that can give us some sort of guidance. You know, we started working, we had that first big project with the animation on ISOM 2, right? And between that and now, you know, even the Alpha Core, we built kind of this sort of internalized sort of animation studio.
I was very impressed with that.
And thank you, appreciate it.
Very good.
Thank you so much. So we built that, but also with the other stuff it is that we want to do. So we know Rippaverse Studios, that is kind of our, let's say, video wing of the company. There's a lot of stuff, but we also happen to have some people that work for the company that you know, have done some film. Let's just say that. Okay, so we have some direction there. But that was every kind of hire that we brought on, I mean, has been strategic, right? So, you know, I need that perspective. This is me entering into sort of uncharted territory with a lot of that. So a lot of that, I just bring them in. If I want to pick up some game on, I just bring them in. I'm like, help me out. That's how everybody got here. This includes both Mike and Chuck as well, because I picked up so much from a storytelling perspective. But yeah, internally there's a lot of, everybody has some flexibility here and a lot of different talents. You guys are going to see a lot of it. Let's say that.
And the second thing I just thought of about the other independent comics that I've been seeing lately, especially with a creator, What's Critical, Charlie's Godslap comic. With the success that it has had, and the fact that there's a big project coming up that is being very much teased at, that a major animation studio is working on with them, does that get you like a bit excited about the rest of the industry as well, that has grown so quickly to be able to get there?
Oh, 100%. Like seeing other people like do these awesome things sort of independently, especially with, you know, Charlie came from more of the YouTube kind of space, and he does this thing, and he's taking it at least serious enough, right, to get it to that point. It is very inspiring. I'm not one of those guys that knocks other people or hates on other individuals that do great things that I'm not a part of, and I just get inspired. So it shows people that it absolutely can be done, and it can be done independently. And, you know, the barriers of entry have been, I mean, if they're even there anymore, they've been significantly lowered, even in comparison to, let's just say, 5 years from now. So to see other people like that are doing great things, 100% it's inspiring. It is.
My whole thought on it is if Godslap does well when the animation comes out, I think that could open the door to other projects also being funded by big studios.
I agree 100%.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Hello, Mr. Thank you so much here. I saw you guys earlier. First off, I wanted to say I am just psyched to have you guys here. I know you guys are normally in Texas, but it's good to be here.
Yeah, for sure.
Just all giddy about it, but anyway, I got two questions just for you and the sisters and Mike Barrett over there. The first question is, with Norfolka, will there be some future interaction with Yaira?
I don't even want to blink right now.
All I can say is that is a good question.
Interesting.
That's a very interesting question. Let's just say that. It's a very interesting.
All right, and my one for Mike Barrett. Goody. What kind of history do you think we might see with him and Bloodroot? Because for him to be able to give some kind of information to ISOM and say, go to this lady, obviously there must mean something magical must have happened with her.
Don't hesitate to use that.
He's got
That's
cameras
a
and
great
everything.
question.
Fortunately, it has nothing to do with black magic.
Well, no, you could at least talk about like his intellectual mind. I think that's fair enough, right?
If we continue, I'm going to incorporate all these characters into the stories that I write.
Yeah, it's again not a random scene, and let's say that. Good questions though. Good question, y'all. You almost got some information there.
I feel the comic will answer that question for you. What comic I cannot say. Oh my God!
This question is for July and the twins. When it comes to storytelling advice,
he should be the guy. Anybody storytelling advice, that's your man, not me. He has the good information.
Okay, I'll ask Mike this. This is well, the things I'm coming from a different field. I'm coming from like a game design kind of field, but would the storytelling of comics apply the same thing for game design as well?
What do you think, Mike? I imagine. I mean, the thing about, and I guess because I do game, I can answer a little bit of that, but it's more interactive, right, with that, so it's a different type of story that it is that you're telling. But I think Mike can give us some insight just on his mind on storytelling in general, those just concepts that I think that are universal to even like novels and stuff like that.
Guys, if you're interested in storytelling, I have a YouTube channel, Mike Barron on YouTube. I talk about storytelling every week. Every week I post a new video about different aspects of storytelling. And I talk about it as well on my Substack called mikebarron.substack.com. I've been writing about writing all my life, and the more I know, the less I know.
True.
Except for this, the prime directive for all of us here, anybody who wants to succeed in this business, is entertainment. That's the number one job. Everything we do has got to entertain first.
Shut
Well,
up.
how do you do that? You use every tool at your disposal.
There we go. Appreciate you, thank you.
Okay, so my question to you is, already I'm looking forward to where the Rippaverse is going. But my big question to you is, and not to jump too far ahead, but the idea of crossovers. Because I figured that there's almost two sides of crossovers when it comes to the comic book industry. One would definitely be a no-no for the Rippaverse, the idea of the multiverse, like infinite dimensions and stuff like that, because that would make it pointless. However, in Batman versus the Predator or Superman versus Xenomorph, they were grounded. So do you think possibly a grounded crossover could work?
Well, I don't. That's probably what our approach to like, it'd be just very difficult to make it make sense because of how we approach like the lack thereof of multiverse and other stuff. There's a dimensional aspect. You guys read ISOM too. You guys saw a little bit of that during the conversation that ISOM as well as a blood group that they had. So it's about, I don't know if it makes sense, but I will say this, and maybe it is a little cocky, maybe at one point, if these companies keep going in the direction that they're going, we'll just buy the property and then cross them over into the
because I didn't know, with this whole renaissance going on, if there'd be other creatives that might want to be like, hey, you want to cross over? Or hey, you want to do a special issue together or something like that?
I do still think there's some creative ways to collaborate, maybe that we haven't even conceptualized. Again, maybe it doesn't have to be done exactly like that in that traditional sense, but absolutely, there's a lot of independent creatives that are out there doing some great things, and if we can make it make sense, we should at least entertain it.
Yeah, that's good. I think my last question to you is, do you think we could possibly have, how they talk about the X sketch for ISOM? Do you think he could possibly come and appear as like a Bizarro villain for ISOM?
That's a pretty good idea. We'll entertain it. That's hilarious.
We need to add that to our list of demands for this guy.
Hey, so I've been following you on YouTube since last year, and I found your story to be very inspiring. But if you want to change, if you want to see the change you want to see in the industry, like the comic industry, you have to be that change. So my question for you is that, since like a lot of your stories take place in the exact same universe, are you gonna do like stories outside of that universe, like create like kind of like a sub company, like kind of like Vertigo, for DC? Like, are you gonna do something like that for different, that's where you can do like non-superhero stories, like horror, fantasy, stuff like that, to appeal to people who don't like superheroes. That's the reason why Chuck Dixon appreciated Vertigo, although he didn't like it.
Yeah. So what I will say is, the fact that we have like a general universe like we have, we can entertain whatever stories it is in the universe. And It doesn't necessarily need to be superhero stuff. I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of that with like Mike's story with Gooding, right? It is a different change of pace, and you saw kind of some of the interactions with Blood Ruth, and you know, she's got freaking wolves and stuff from places, right? So we have some cool things that we can do already within our universe, and we can make it make sense. I mean, when you think of a concept of a universe, it's ever expanding, and even if the story doesn't need to be told on Earth, we can still tell it, right? So I do believe that. I ask the question like this. Perhaps, but I would think of it more of a like, not less about genres and more about like what the appeal is. Like, you know, you had Marvel, you had Max series and all that sort of stuff, where things that are more geared to you know, other adults, like stuff like that. I think you will eventually see a lot of that stuff within the Rippaverse, but as far as the general universe, we can tell whatever stories we want to tell. So.
That's a good, response to such a thing. And have you read comments on your videos that they're suggesting for Garth Ennis to come to your company so you can write a Punisher vigilante type of character?
Yeah. So what I will say is Horseman.
Yeah, we got that covered. We got an app for that. It's called Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck makes it app.
We got two of the greatest Punisher writers ever in
It's tough to raise a child these days. It's been shown that two parents has a positive effect on just one. All four of you are very talented business and creatively. Did any of your creative or business success come from how father raised you? If so, can you share a story?
Well, you gotta go for it. I can go for it.
So our dad came from Czechoslovakia when that was still a country, and then the communists came and it got ripped apart. So, he had spent 3 years in a refugee camp before he came over to Canada. So when we wanted allowance, we asked for shifts at Dad's work because you don't ask for money, you work for money. And that has been us our entire life. And I remember growing up hearing all those stories and being like, Dad, people aren't like that, the world's not like that, the government's not like that. And then I grew up and was like, Dad, I'm so sorry, it was so tough.
My dad is an amazing musician and a very talented painter, and he didn't get to do that professionally because he had to work. He had a graphic company called Twin Graphics, and he always worked, still works. If you get anything from us, my dad's probably printed it. But he always instilled the arts in us from a very young age. He would take us to the opera well before we appreciated what he was doing. He showed us all sorts of music. Oh my gosh. My mom also, she showed us horror movies, but that's a different story. My dad accepted the horror movies. And my dad was very Catholic. We're very Catholic. We're altar servers. Even though we went into horror, my dad said, you know, God speaks through every medium, and he will speak through you if you let him. So I am very empowered by my dad. I'm so grateful for him. My mom and dad are still together, and they're watching my Rottweiler. My poor parents watching my Rottweiler, Princess Diana. That alone. That alone is their great parents. Thank you. That's a good question.
Hope you don't think I'm a crackhead for asking this question.
Great.
But have you thought of taking your other job from backwards and combining it with Norfolka and making a Rippaverse version of the Gorillas?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Good luck, Aaron.
Oh my God.
That's interesting because you're a musician.
Yeah, I just happened to be there. Those are metal guys. What I could say for sure is that element. When I created Norfolk, the metal aspect was something that was very important to it, right? I hadn't seen anything like Metalocalypse or something, but like a series like in-universe team that that has these sort of types of beings that they are, and they also perform like a genre is that I grew up loving, was very, very important. And we want to do cool out of universe, I don't know, like in universe stuff that actually comes into fruition in different ways. So the way that you kind of put that is certainly one of those ways to entertain that. But yes, I do want to entertain the actual musical aspect of Norfolka and manifest it to where you guys can actually like hear it, right? And I would very much be very involved in that process. So yeah, good question.
Great question.
Like the stream, everyone.
So I guess a comment and a question. The comment is from a storytelling point of view. I really love from ISOM 1 how we're starting in the middle, and maybe we don't know what all the powers of all these different people are. That's something that we're going to explain later. Maybe, who knows what the ring is? The guy's still worried about the ring, and I'm sure the ring will pay off. And of course Texas is separated. You know, why not? I had to read that twice. I was like, Texas separation. What? Okay, well, they'll tell us
Looks like we're
eventually.
getting pretty
Yeah,
close to
eventually.
that.
So I really do like that from the storytelling aspect, how you guys have handled that. And second of all, we've been hearing about Yaira Winter. Winter ends on March 20th.
Sure does.
Accurate.
When is Yaira going to be actively for sale?
I will tell you that Yaira means to enlighten and illuminate, so we need a little bit more sun.
March 20th.
No, she did not say that.
Look, I'm telling you right now.
More sun than Orlando?
Boss, you can take that one.
So, appreciate you, bro.
Thanks for getting the Yaira question out of the way.
Just keep asking it, maybe someone will answer. We're sleep
So,
deprived.
asking again, that is aside, I like the idea that you put forward that there's going to be a lot of different genres, basically, that you can entertain anything. You could do like international espionage, perhaps. You could do just suburban horror, perhaps. But as for a question, I know that you've done streams with Razor Fist online. You guys should come up with an idea to hit him up on writing like a portal fantasy with him for Rippaverse. I think, because I've read his books for the Night Vale series, he's definitely shown a lot of imagination in that. So I think he definitely would have something to offer you in that particular realm. Something that is very different than a lot of people usually see in modern fantasy. So he's especially a fan of the Elric books.
Yes.
Definitely would be something that I think a lot of old school fantasy fans would love to see in the Rippaverse.
Okay.
So getting on people like that.
Okay. I'm game for that. We love Razor Fist, man, so for sure.
Godspeed.
Great idea, and you are heard, man.
Great shirt.
Oh yeah.
Yaira shirt's only $8 at the table.
Shut up. Can't buy anything for $8.
Question for the entire panel. Any advice to up and coming writers as far as like preventing writer's block and things of that nature that, you know, prevent it from getting stale as well? Because, you know, even if you love your craft, you may get stale sometimes. So.
You heard my comment about the pen and pad. You have one?
Yeah.
All right, that's a good start. The other clue I would give about writer's block is to work on at least 3 or 4 projects at once. Because that way, when you run into a roadblock, you switch your channel off there and you address a completely different situation that you're trying to work on. Another thing that I found that's worked for me is when I don't know what to do next, I retreat with my pen and my pad and I start writing down things that could happen. No matter how ridiculous, no matter if it has nothing to do with the story and the thing you're working on, just start writing those things down. And eventually, you'll see a path forward.
Thank you.
That's great, Mike.
There you go.
I thought we would have an off-topic question for fun. for all of you, what movie do you like that fits in the category of this is so bad it's good, and why?
The Barbie movie.
I don't know. For me, maybe Major Pain.
Yeah. Good father
I
figure.
only recommend good movies, but I'd like to recommend Equalizer 3.
Yeah.
And everybody said, why can't they make a good Punisher movie? I don't know why they can't make a good Punisher movie, but The Equalizer, #1, is the best Punisher movie ever made.
Clarification, you didn't say Major Pain's a bad movie, did you?
No, well, people think it's bad. I think it's awesome. I was about to cross these roads.
Eric, quick question, quick over here. I think we can all agree the baddest super movie to me, in my opinion, was always be Steel.
Oh, Shaq Steel.
There was no Steel
Hello, Eric. You've been doing a good job surrounding yourself with people from the past, working in different genres and different comics eras. So my question is this: we all know that manga destroying Marvel and DC in sales, absolutely. So if you're interested in looking for like a Japanese or Korean manga artist and have to do like a manga for the Rippaverse and try to get some
I mean, we do have a character that you guys, if you read Alpha for, that has some inspiration there. Maybe that can be entertained from that side of the earth. But absolutely, man. I mean, they're killing it. There's some cool things that I believe that they do, especially with storytelling, that I do think would fit along like the way we do our longer form stuff, right? That is, I don't want to say it's inspired by them, but they show that it is a big demand for it, right? So, yeah, I would love to. I would love, hell, to get our stuff translated so they can read books the proper way instead of backwards and forwards.
I thought you liked backwards.
Hey guys, so my question is sort of related to that previous question and also the crackhead question. So you guys primarily make comic books, but we've also seen you venture into animation and talking about music as well. And I see you guys are getting the NDA Are there any forms of media that you guys really wish you could venture into, and any that you think you really wouldn't?
I mean, I can let everybody answer that because everybody's working on stories. So for me, I'm a big, sports guy, obviously, and I wondered how that would land. I'm not talking about, we got like Larry Sean guy and the wrestling stuff. That's cool as well. I love to entertain that, but like, I don't know, we have seen like the Japanese do these kind of crazy sort of, sports-based like mangas, right? I would love to do like something in the American sense, and maybe, I just don't know how that would land and what the demand for that is, but that would be my answer. But you guys, any genre?
Just no Taylor Swift, please.
I mean, hell, if it'll make us some money.
It would be super cool to do something horror-based in the Rippaverse.
Yeah, if we could do something horror and maybe something with bad guys would be cool.
Potentially, yeah. I can see where.
That would be sick.
Yeah, I can understand it. I can understand it. Anything like that? Any other type of, you're already doing something that's kind of off. Any other type of genres you like that?
I'm working on 17 different stories at once all the time. I love horror. And in fact, I have 3 horror novels out. You can find them all on Amazon. Just go and type my name in. One is called Banshees. It's about a satanic rock band that comes back from the dead. Everybody's read it, loves it.
I did that.
Director attachment.
All right, standing here like this, I have to have a question. So,
it's going to be a tough one.
My question is mainly looking at different genres. You were talking about the branching out into animation. What would the first Rippaverse game look like? Would you be talking video game, to pencil and paper game, board game? What would a video game or a game in the Rippaverse look like in the ideal situation?
I can answer that in a couple of ways. First is, I I have a dream game like that I want to build, and I've talked about this before.
That's what we want to hear.
Okay, so the dream game, I mean, it would take a whole lot of money. We'd have to have a couple more $3.7 million campaigns to get to that point.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, true. So for me, I love, you know, anybody that's watched the game, you know, I love like online RPGs. That's my thing. And I would love to do something that is like an actual kind of competitive brawler fighter type of, you know, three-dimensional open world like our RPG where our audience gets to, you know, create their own superhero, if you will, maybe even villain in their Rippaverse, right? And like, again, something that where the combat system isn't like on the back burner. We've seen that a lot, especially with MMOs. We've seen that like where like combat is just a means to an end. It's not anything that's focused on. I would love to build the combat system first and then build the game around that and take that really serious. That would be my dream, but it's gonna take a lot of money to do it. So we are.
Start with the tabletop one.
Yeah. One more. All right. One more before we get out of here.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hi, we love you.
I'll make it real quick for you. How often do you guys pace yourself with this sort of thing? Eric, I know for writing the Rippaverse, you always have to like manage a warehouse, be able to like keep everybody on tap. I'm sure you have a account for most of it when it comes to taking care of your crew, that sort of thing. Time sisters, well, I'm not sure if you do this full time or not.
They do now. They do now, yes.
Okay, that's great to hear. And Mike, your resume speaks for itself, that's for sure. But yeah, when it comes to like building everything, like writing, art, and like everything that comes to it, it's not the sort of thing you just that you just do like blind. You know, you schedule yourself, you have to pace yourself. What does that look like to you? And, and when something new comes up, how do you build that in? Is it slowly or?
Eric doesn't sleep.
Yeah, that's true. I don't really sleep at all, barely. But no, I work nonstop. When you love what you do, you get to do that. You get that opportunity to do that. So I work nonstop and I grind. And when I have an idea, kind of sort of like Mike's approach, I write it down and I try to make it come to fruition. But I end with this, is that you have to surround yourself to make this stuff come to fruition. You got to surround yourself with people that know what it is to do. Yep. So the people that you see right, this is very much a team thing. I could not have done this by myself. You see like our operations manager with Brandon right there. We got everybody Terry here. None of this can happen if you don't have good, awesome people that know what it is that they're doing. So
And a great leader.
Yeah.
The best.
I appreciate it. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're at booth number 1074, 1074, if you guys want to get something.
DG panel 115.
115.
What room? 311. 311A. That's right
across.
The next hall over.
Across the way.
311A, I think.
311A. 115. The GSG panel will be there. Critical Drinker will be there as well.
And don't cheer for Beardo next time.
Hey,
Beardo.
that was accidentally my fault.
How's it going, man? See you, Biggles.
Hey, you see what that is?
I do.
We gotta clear the room.